My grandmother smelled like lavender and old paperbacks. She kept butterscotch in her cardigan pocket, called everyone sweetheart whether she liked them or not, and every single morning, rain, snow, didn't matter, she sat in the same chair by the kitchen window and watched the birds. I used to sit with her, just the two of us, tea going cold, neither of us saying much. She passed on a Tuesday in March, quietly, the way she did everything. I drove 4 hours to be there, took bereavement leave, bought flowers she would have said were too expensive. My parents, her son and daughter-in-law, had already started making calls before I even arrived. Not to family.to the estate attorney. The funeral was efficient. That's the only word for it. 14 minutes. Generic readings. Nobody cried except me and her neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, who brought a Tupperware of oatmeal cookies because she didn't know what else to do. Grandma Eleanor had requested a specific farewell, handwritten, filed with her attorney 2 years prior. She wanted her ashes scattered at the lake house, the one she'd owned for 30 years, the one my parents had been trying to get her to sell for the last 5. My father said the lake house was too far. My mother said the whole thing was a lot of unnecessary sentiment. They had her cremated, put the urn on the kitchen counter next to the fruit bowl, for 11 days. Then one afternoon I came by, and it was gone. I asked my mother where it was. She didn't look up from her phone. We handled it. I felt something shift in my chest, something cold and permanent. Handled it how? She said they had scattered the ashes in the backyard. Their backyard, not the lake, not the house she loved, not anywhere she had asked for. Their backyard because it was convenient. I didn't say anything. I went home. I sat in the dark for a long time, and then my phone rang. It was Grandma Eleanor's attorney. He said there was something I needed to know, something that had been inside the urn. Subscribe to Karma's list and turn on the bell because what was in that urn changes everything. Grandma Eleanor had known, not suspected, not worried, known. For 3 years she had been quietly watching my parents drain her accounts. Small transfers, forged signatures on secondary accounts she rarely checked. A power of attorney document they had pushed her to sign during a hospital stay, one she later told her attorney she hadn't fully understood. She never confronted them. Instead, she documented everything. Every transfer, every forged signature, every date. She compiled it with her attorney into a sealed file. And then she placed a handwritten note inside the urn, folded twice, sealed in a small waterproof envelope. She had told the funeral home director, a woman she'd known for 20 years, to make sure the note stayed inside until the urn reached the lake house. My parents never went to the lake house, so the director called the attorney, who called me. The note was 2 pages. I'm not going to read it word for word because some things are private even in their power. But here's what it said. She knew about the accounts. She had reported the transfers to a financial crimes investigator 6 months before she died quietly, without telling anyone. The investigation had already begun. Her will had been rewritten 18 months prior. Everything, the lake house, the investments, the savings left to me and a children's literacy charity she had volunteered with for 15 years. My parents had been removed entirely, not by accident. By choice. With a 12-page explanation on file with the attorney. And the note ended with this: sweetheart, the birds are still at the window. Go scatter me somewhere beautiful. I'll find my way. I read it 3 times before I could breathe. If this is hitting you somewhere deep, like this video and drop her in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. This is the kind of story Karma's list was built for. My parents found out on a Thursday. The attorney called them in for what they believed was a routine estate reading. They arrived in separate cars. My mother wore a new coat. My father brought a notepad like he was attending a meeting. The attorney read the will. My mother asked him to repeat it. He did. Then he slid a folder across the desk. The financial crimes investigation had concluded 3 weeks after Grandma Eleanor passed. The evidence she had compiled, 18 months of documented transfers, forged signatures, the power of attorney filing, had been handed to prosecutors. My father's face went the color of old paper. My mother said there had to be a mistake. There was no mistake. The lake house transferred to my name that afternoon. The investments split between me and the charity. My parents' access to every joint account they had quietly attached themselves to frozen pending the criminal proceeding. They called me that evening. My father's voice was different, smaller somehow. Said it was all a misunderstanding. Said family didn't do this to each other. Said Grandma Eleanor would have wanted them taken care of. I thought about 11 days. An urn on a counter next to a fruit bowl. A backyard, because it was convenient. I told him Grandma Eleanor had taken care of everything. Then I hung up. 3 weeks later I drove to the lake. Alone, early morning. The kind of quiet that feels intentional. I stood at the water's edge and I talked to her for a while. About the birds, about the tea going cold. About how she always knew more than she let on. Then I opened the waterproof envelope one more time. Read the last line. Go scatter me somewhere beautiful. I did. Grandma Eleanor didn't need anyone to fight for her. She had spent 3 years making sure quietly, methodically, completely that the truth would land exactly where it needed to. After she was gone, on her terms. That is not grief. That is architecture. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. New stories every single week, and I promise you they only get heavier from here. Drop in the comments if Grandma Eleanor is the most prepared person you've ever heard of. This has been Karma's List. We keep receipts.